Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the final chance for the Thriller to ace his magic exam and pull the rabbit out of the hat, because it'll take that and a whole lot more for Travis Miller to overcome a 24-point deficit to win the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models Season Championship this evening, live on PitStop TV. Welcome to the virtual Concord, North Carolina. Andrew Cardinale with Trey Shuttlesworth on the mic and Emerson Arden alongside. And we thank you for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for the final round of the BRP iRacing Series Dirt Late Model Tour. Throw out the bull rings of weeks past, toss the Dirt Super Speedway of USA in the trash, because we're at the 4/10 mile, 2/5 mile oval constructed by SMI in 2000, on which the World of Outlaws World Finals are decided, and the BRP Late Model Champion shall be crowned. It's the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I cannot look more forward to a single dirt track that we've had on the schedule, Trey. When you think about dirt tracks for deciding a championship, this has to be in the forefront of your mind in 2021. It's been that way for, 20 years now, 21 years if you're counting. It simply feels like a fantastic championship dirt venue, and that's what we're using it for this evening here on the iRacing.com sim.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, Andrew. I mean, we see limited use of really any of the SMI dirt tracks that they own, whether it be, say, Texas or Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But when they are used, they're used to a great effect, and that's what we're seeing tonight. Really, you could mirror it to what you see with the use of the World Finals in November. But yeah, all around, the Charlotte dirt track is an absolutely brilliant place to have a dirt race at. It's, while, being about 4/10 of a mile, I believe, it does combine a little bit of that bull ring feeling with a lot of the high speeds that you'll see at the likes of, say, Volusia Raceway Park, Williams Grove Speedway. Take your pick of, whatever half mile you want to. And I think we have a couple of factors that are going to work in our favor to make for a lot of fun during the future. I think this track is going to get quite slick here in the daytime conditions here on the sim.
So we've got a lot to look forward to this evening. Let's check in at how we've gotten here throughout the season. You see 40 laps. That was brand new for this season. 40 laps at every single racetrack. I think that's worked out well. We've had some races that have felt a bit like longer enduros, certainly tests of attrition, and some races that have been mad sprints to the finish. I think it's been a fantastic, diverse, certainly diverse schedule throughout the course of this season of the BRP iRacing Series Late Model Season 2 Tour, as it is called. We open things up at Volusia, another fantastic battle there. Lernerville, Limaland, Knoxville on the way, then Lanier, Bristol, Weedsport, Eldora, Cedar Lake, and Kokomo even, along with USA International, Fairbury American Legion Speedway, and this evening at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Trey, certainly a fantastic set of 13 tracks, and they have set up for this championship battle. And I say battle a little bit loosely right now, admittedly, because there is a 24-point gap between Maxime Plant and Travis Miller. That's going to be a lot to have to overcome, and with the current attendance at 12 cars, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's an excellent point that you do bring that up tonight, Andrew. We were even talking about this a little bit beforehand, even with a couple more chances to pick up points for Travis Miller, whether it be through getting quick time in hot laps or doing well in the heat races. It's just going to be incredibly tough. I don't even, like you said, know that the mathematical numbers are really going to give him a chance to even go out there. So, like, I guess hypothetically what I'm trying to say is the fact that if we don't get the car count up in the next few minutes, I think Plant is going to be a pure lock. And he can just go out there and, push like hell, have fun.
In case you're wondering, there are just about 7 minutes left in practice. We are watching this practice session currently, talking about points here. Let's quickly highlight the driver of the 79, because I feel like we've talked a lot about Travis Miller. Travis Miller, can he catch up? Can he get there? Well, let's check in on Maxime Plant and check in on the season that he's had. Here we go. His Pro Dirt Late Model stats this season for the gentleman: 12 starts, obviously, because we've only had 12 races. Race 13 is tonight. Look at that. So look at that. Those 6 wins, 7 heat wins along with it. His worst finish this season has been 8th. That was at Bristol. That was a bit of an interesting time. Worst heat finish was 3rd last week at Fairbury, Trey. 3rd. That's his worst heat finish. And that's only happened once, and it happened last week at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. That, to me, is the most outstanding stat among the bunch. The fact that he has finished either in first or second in every single heat that he's been in, aside from last week, is pretty incredible. You see the 10 podium finishes to boot. He's finished on the podium every single week now since Weed Sport. That is his longest active, or I guess his longest streak so far this season of 6 races. Looking to make that 7 this evening. That would be just over half the season, and he holds that 24-point lead over Travis Miller. It's been a fantastic season if your name is Maxime Plant. And I can't blame Travis Miller. Travis Miller's had a stellar season as well, just not quite like this guy. And looking at these stats, however could you?
Yeah, when I think of Maxime's Plant season, I just think of the fact that he's really, for the most part, he's been right on that edge of being on that, 500 winning percentage mark, if you will, for most of the season. It seemed like he's been relatively consistent about picking up the victories, and it's made it very difficult for any competitor to go out there and try to get the job done against him. Otherwise you're starting to talk about Travis Miller, and he's had his fair share of good showings, but I do think to the likes of, say, the race at Kokomo, where he elected to go to, I believe it was the inside line, and it just eliminated his opportunity for a victory. And that was at a critical point of the season where, he still had a fair amount of points to pick up, but the loss of the lead to Plant and others, it really, in my mind, marked a massive change in momentum at that point, with still a few rounds to go.
Certainly. I think Kokomo was the nail in the coffin for Travis Miller. It was an opportunity where he could have made up some of the points that he would have needed to win this championship, and it just didn't quite happen. Now you can see, even in practice, Maxime right on his coattails. Anytime Travis has had an advantage, that 79 has been there along with him and ready to capitalize. And in the case of Kokomo, did capitalize, did take that race win away from Travis, and Maxime Plant passing Travis Miller, I think, feels like a great way to sum up the season, and we're only in practice this evening. It's been a wild season. We're following the wild child in this little group. We're going to take a step aside, though. We're going to let you all catch your breath. We're going to catch our breath before we get the show really started here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't go anywhere. More coverage of the BRP iRacing series is next on PitStop TV.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas, and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, right across the street, of course, from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So historic in its own right in the tales of NASCAR throughout the years and so much more. But tonight it's all about this 4/10 mile, not bull ring, not super speedway on dirt. It's really just kind of in that mid-tier. It's not quite that big half mile, but it certainly is a big, bad, and fast dirt track here in the Tar Heel State. Practice starting to wrap up here at Trey. We talked a bit about the seasons these drivers, some of them have had so far. Of course, Travis Miller and Maxime Plant, the story of the season all season long. But there have been some other drivers that have broken through, especially as of late. I think you have to look to Hunter Reeve as one of those drivers that's broken through as of recently, as well as Tanner Correa, who we were looking at a moment ago. These two guys, I think, have been right there with Jamie Porter as emerging as a couple of the potential favorites, not necessarily to win a race, but certainly to put the cars on podium.
And at this point of the season, I think while there isn't a lot of opportunity for these drivers to pick up positions in the championship standings, for example, I look at Hilton in points, and he has no one within 20 points of him, and the most that Correa can probably pick up is maybe 7th place on Brett Fisher. But yeah, otherwise, I think this presents an opportunity with, most of the pressure off to go out there and try to gain momentum for whatever the next combination of car will be for the BRP Dirt Series that we'll see coming forward in the future. But yeah, from both drivers, a lot of respective showings. I think for Hunter Reeve, and I think all the way back to Evolution near the start of the season, where he finished on the podium, I believe, or it was at least top 5 at worst.
Yeah, and things started off really strongly for Hunter Reeve, as well as other drivers on this list. I think of Brett Fisher and Tanner Correa right there with them. Even Adam Hilton, who have had great seasons, but a few gaps in between, either races missed or just races where things didn't pan out, and that's why they're further down in the standings, certainly much further back than drivers like Jamie Porter and the like. So certainly fantastic seasons for some of these guys. They're about to come to a close, and last opportunities to make up some spots. I don't know if Hunter Reeve is going to make up some of those points, or at least that position on Adam Hilton. It looks pretty solid there for the 3-car in 5th place, and he is here this evening. That's a big part of it too. But Brett Fisher, Tanner Correa, that position is still up for grabs, and honestly, Alan Slight could make a move there on Tanner Correa. Nothing is really guaranteed from 7th through 10th positions in the standings. Everything else here looks a little bit certain, especially as we are rolling into qualifying, and we are just about ready to call him the champion. We'll get there in a moment. Right now, qualifying getting underway. Ryder Strauff, one of the first cars on the Speedway. It's good to have Ryder back in the series. It's been a few weeks since we've seen that Tucson Sound Art number 58, but he is out there, and Adam Hilton is the first to take a crack at the time, and Hunter Reeve, look at that, goes faster.
And we'll continue to follow with Reeve. This will be a second lap. We do see that the track state has got a little bit of a freshening up, if you will. It did get quite worn, quite a bit of rubber put in. And I think we still see a little bit there on the entry of the corner. But regardless, there's going to be a lot of grip available for these guys. Brett Fisher, he taught the chiming charts rather in practice, and now he's doing it in qualifying. Currently at the top of the board with a lot of guys who have set a time so far. Not the top 2 in the championship standings, though.
No, they did this last week at Fairbury, and it certainly works out, doesn't it, to have the couple of championship leaders wait until the end of the session. There's Ryder Strauff pulling his car back into the pits in the infield. Hunter Reeve just riding around at this point, adding a couple of laps to his qualifying session. Now, the driver that does go fastest in qualifying and puts down the quick time does grab themselves 2 points. That's 2 championship points towards any position, obviously, if they get that quick time. And Maxime Plant and Travis Miller are not taking to the Speedway. This is surprising me. We're down to a minute. I guess there's still time to get out there and get a time. And here we go. Here comes Maxime Plant. He's going to get out there. And unless something changes here in the last few moments, we are ready to go ahead and call Maxime Plant our champion this season.
And without a doubt, we already hit on a lot of the stats, but I think what has set him apart from the rest has just been pure consistency, which, we were already hitting on, but the fact that his worst feature finish was 8th place, and what has really helped is his consistency in both qualifying and the heat races, outside of that one round finishing first and second in the heat races. That really, really sets you apart, especially with how some of these races have unfortunately turned into a caution fest during the middle stages.
Certainly, Maxime Plant has put one heck of a season together. He goes second now in qualifying, and we would have needed to get up to at least 15 to 18 cars this evening for the mathematics to work out for Travis Miller. That said, Travis Miller has gone second now in qualifying. Maxime Plant can't. Oh, he does one up that. He goes faster. Add 2 points to the total. Can Travis Miller go faster even? I don't think so, and no. Travis Miller does not move Maxime Plant off of the pole. So if it wasn't bad enough for the 22 crew, it gets a little bit harder to make up those points. Now 26 before we even get heat racing here, Trey. I think it's a safe call at this point that Maxime Plant is your champion this season. Let's go ahead and get ready for the Heat 1 grid. Both of our championship contenders are in it as well. How about this? If we get the right grid up, there we go. Maxime Plant on pole for Heat 1. Travis Miller on his outside. There he goes in his chrome red machine. I love those colors. Unfortunately, it's going to be second best this evening from the looks of things. Starting to the inside of row number 3, Tanner Correa, the wild child in that number 11, with Jamie Porter on his outside. Starting in 5th place in heat number 1, it is Double H. Hunter Holberg, Wild Bill himself, starts to the inside of Alan Slight, and rounding out the field, Tyler Pachalski, a late entry, just makes it into heat 1.
And by the looks of it, that means there will be, 13 cars in the virtual pits here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not a massive amount, but I think that's enough to have quite a bit of fun, especially with the talent that we have in this field week in and week out.
I would certainly have to agree there, Trey. It's been a wild season, a lot of talent through and through. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys get preliminary racing this evening. Tyler Pachalski catching up there in the back. I'm so glad that we get one more show for these guys this season and that it comes here at Charlotte. Picking this series up back in the fall or winter of last year, I wasn't sure what to expect, but we were just happy to bring dirt back on to the channel here at PitStop TV, and certainly it has been one heck of a match. Certainly cannot thank these guys enough here at the BRP iRacing series for coming to us for broadcasting, and the partners as well. Bicknell Racing Products, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series, Matter Designs, Jam Performance, Pete Costco Haulage, and Miller's Auto Detailing. The car is getting one final chance around the Speedway before green flag conditions here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One last chance to catch your breath. As Larry Mack would say, one more chance to pull those belts tight one more time, ladies and gents. Green flag is just on the far side of these couple of corners, waiting for the green flag signal from the starter at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Barney gets that arm waving, and we're off and away for Heat 1 for the final time this season.
And interestingly enough, on the outside line, it's going to be Travis Miller who works his way to the lead. And I do have to say, going into the restart zone there, he was a little bit ahead, just a little bit ahead of Maxime Plant coming to the start-finish line. I think he got on the throttle a little bit sooner as well, and that pays dividends.
That it did. Down the backstretch for lap number 2, the 22 leads, and yeah, that little bit ahead is what won Marco Andretti SRX this past weekend as well. I think it worked out there for Travis Miller, much the same, but Maxime Plant just a little bit faster. This could be an opportunity, though, for Travis Miller to just say, hey, I'm still here, I still want to contend for race wins, and it's going to start for a heat race win. Maxime Plant right up underneath the back end of that 22 car, now to the top side.
The pressure is on, and he's going to get a wider arc in the entry of the corner. In theory, should mean that he has a little bit of speed down the back straightaway. Still going to be pretty dead even, although he's going to elect to go to the outside, and they're going to be side-by-side coming to the start-finish line halfway through here in heat number 1.
That was a drag race across the line, and it looks like the cross under there for the 79 of Maxime Plant works out. Almost contact into 3. Miller works the top, and Maxime works the bottom. It works out for the 79 car. The gentleman now leads. He's mentioned before, he loves Charlotte, and look at that slide job, and he jacks up the 22. He gets hit behind, and oh my goodness, guys.
Travis Miller immediately going to elect to go down to the pit lane, try to get that fast repair. I'm not sure that's going to do too much at this point in time. In fact, he's going to tow as a result, and that's going to make things tough. And I think that's also a key component of the season of Travis Miller is his inconsistency and his the periods rather where he's gotten into incidents. It's really hurt.
White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art out for heat number 1. It's all Maxime Plant out front. Then it's Tanner Correa, Hunter Hallberg, Jamie Porter, Alan Slight, Travis Miller, and Tyler Pachalski not completing all the laps back there. That is it, ladies and gents, for heat 1. My goodness, what a first heat here at Charlotte. Travis Miller, none too happy about that one. I'm going to be honest, he got clobbered by 2 guys who just didn't want to lift, and I can say for Jamie Porter, it was likely a lot harder to get out of that top line, but man, Travis Miller just got bodied there as if the NHL Stanley Cup Finals weren't over quite yet. But Heat 2 is on deck, is gridding up, ready to go, and ready to do it one more time. Trey, go ahead and walk us through this Heat 2 grid.
For sure, my pleasure. So we'll have 6 cars joining the grid here for Heat 2. Starting on the inside of row 1, it's going to be Brett Fisher. He led the way in practice, and he'll come up just shy in time trials tonight. He'll be accompanied by a driver we've seen in other series here on PitStop TV. It's going to be Hunter Reeve in that second position. Row number 2 is going to be a race winner this season in Gavin Eisel, and then it's going to be a Ryder's Ralph, who yet again, another driver that we've seen quite a bit here on PitStop TV. And then to round out the field tonight, it will be Adam Hilton in the 5th position, and Dean Meitzler rounding out your 6-car field. Second of 2 heats tonight, and that will set the field for our 13-car feature.
So there you have it, the first 2 grids of the evening that will help set the feature grid on the evening, the final one of the season, 13 races. This is the 13th. It all comes down to Charlotte Motor Speedway. And again, things very much decided at this point. Add 4 more points to the total. That now makes it 30. There's no way, unfortunately, that Travis Miller can take this one away from the gentleman. It's all but wrapped up, and Maxime Plant is your season champion. That said, we've still got a little bit of a ways to go. The green flag waiting for Brett Fisher. Under the flag stand he will go. The green flag waves, and we're back at it here at Charlotte.
A much more competitive job by the inside line. This time will be Brett Fisher, but it's going to be too wide behind him, almost looking 3 onto the entry of turn 3. And now we're going to be, nearly 4 wide through the middle of the corner. Still going to be Brett Fisher. He will lead at the completion of lap number 1. But this is quite a track here for heat racing.
You can see down to the bottom side, Hilton was working something out, but it didn't stick. And Eisel now will move it to the inside of the 21 car. The 18 is digging. He's a self-proclaimed bottom feeder, and it's working out currently for the 18 of Gavin Eisel, right down to the bottom side, trying to beat that 21 car for the race lead. Still a drag race down the backstretch. No slide job yet. Does it come there? No, not quite, but wow, lunge there from Hilton. Everybody's trying for that top spot.
And if you think of how Travis Miller was able to utilize the outside line on the start of Heat 1, that's what these guys are fighting for here in the feature race. So this could be massive if someone can go out there and get the job done and take the Heat 2 victory. Still going to be Brett Fisher leading the way, and it's getting quite tight behind him, and that's going to allow him to pull a little bit of a gap. So almost 3 behind in the entry of 1 for that second place spot.
Fisher starting to check out. The battle on for second place. 3 points still up for grabs for these guys battling for second. 4 to the race winner here in this second heat. Eisel, wow, what a move right in front of Hunter Reeves. Solidifies him in front of that 44 car. But now Hilton with a slider. No crossover there from Eisel. Ooh, a boop from behind. A boop again. And my goodness, these guys are getting a little bit handsy with one another. You see Meitzler now slide up in front of Hunter Reeve and pushes that 44 back.
Yeah, Meitzler had some trouble there catching the slider, but he gets the job done. Only going to lose 1 spot for the time being, and in fact, he'll move up into 5th as a result. Now we're going to look for Eisel to move to the bottom there, coming to the white flag for that second position. A lot on the line here, of course, as that's going to determine an entire row in the feature race.
White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art out once again. This for heat number 2. Gavin Eisel went fastest that time, goes purple. Now digging the bottom side of turns 3 and 4. Brett Fisher wins the heat. You see Eisel a drag race, and he gets second place in heat number 2. He'll start 4th for the feature.
And if that's the kind of racing that we're seeing in a track that's relatively green, I think we're in for quite the show as the track begins to wear over the course of 40 green flag laps here. Of course, caution laps will not count. I think these guys have a couple of fast repairs available to them, so they have the opportunity to be aggressive. So I think we're in for a lot of fun.
We always are on a Monday night, dirt night here at PitStop TV, as it's become over the course of time. So happy you're here watching with us. A big thank you to all of the partners here with the BRP iRacing series. Of course, Bicknell Racing Products, Matt DeRitter Designs, Jam Performance, Pete Costco College, and Miller's Auto Detailing, as well as our partners here at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Check out more at TucsonSoundArt.com and use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your order, as well as Race Pays Setups. use that Discord link bottom right to pick up pace with Race Pace. Don't forget permanent makeup and cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV, and BAM Racing videos by a race fan for the racing community. Your feature race grid from Charlotte looks like this. Maxime Plant on pole after winning his heat. He will start to the inside of Brett Fisher, who won heat number 2. Starting third for the feature, it's Tanner Correa in that number 11. Gavin Eisel will start fourth. Starting fifth, it's the 99 Wild Bill Hunter Holberg, starting to the inside of Adam Hilton. Starting 7th place this evening at Charlotte, it's Jamie Porter in the 45 with Ryder Schrauf to his outside. Starting 9th, it's Alan Slayton, that green number 2 with the green 44 to his outside, Hunter Reeve. Starting 11th here at Charlotte, Travis Miller in the double deuce with Dean Meitzler in the silver bullet to his outside, and rounding out the field, it's Tyler Pachalski. The field is into the final couple of corners. Before we go green flag for the final time this season, working slowly through turns 3 and 4. Maxime Plant, the gentleman, brings us to the green flag. Green flag flies, we're off and away at Charlotte. Into turns 3 and 4, Maxime Plant works that top side. Boise working it well. Across the line, he leads that first lap. Love these static shots. 3 wide down to turn 1.
And still 3 wide currently for the 3rd position at the moment. Brett Fisher's going to pull a little bit of a gap on the absolute gaggle that we see in the mid-pack. And now getting a little bit clear for the time being is going to be Gavin Eisel. Already 2 laps completed here at the dirt track.
A little bit clearer, boy, that is an understatement. These guys are all over one another, and Hunter Holberg, look at the drive so far from this 99 car, battling for 4th. Slight look down low, couldn't quite get there. Now Hilton maybe going to think about 3 wide. He goes there, doesn't quite stay to the inside, though, of the Wild Child. The 11 car working that top side, and Boise working it wild this evening. Draws right up to the back end of Hunter Holberg. Now he goes to the outside for 3 and 4. Lap 4 complete this time by.
And he's showing a lot of commitment to the top side for the time being. And with the pace of the 99, I think that might end up paying dividends. If he can get clear of the 99 of Holberg, that'll put him into the 4th position. And I think he's shown the pace to be able to contend with Gavin Eisel for the time being.
As all of this happens up front, Travis Miller nowhere to be found. He's that chrome red machine bottom of the racetrack behind this gaggle of race cars. But you see them all battling for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and on back. And, that green number 2 down to the inside as the black 18 hits the wall into turn number 3. Now the 11 looks high. You see Correa working to the outside of Eisel, while Holberg has company from Slight. Holberg doesn't move up all the way. Slight pulls a little slide job and gets that position down the backstretch. This is lap 7 of 40. Ooh, contact.
Yes, Slight comes down a little bit there on the 99 of Holberg, but everyone's going to get away pretty well scot-free for the time being, and we're having quite the duel for the podium. At this point in time, I have no idea who's going to get that position, although we are going to see Correa get quite the run down the back straightaway, and he's going to be charging hard on that top side. Oh, and we have Holberg around.
Hunter Holberg with problems, and that is our first caution from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not quite up and over. I joked with him in Discord earlier that this was one more chance for the 99 car to flip. Thankfully, it's not a 66 just yet, but he is our first caution flag.
And it will come at lap 9 tonight, so I think compared to what we normally see, we're setting a pretty consistent pace so far tonight. So, yeah, fairly efficient for the most part, and that incident itself wasn't too bad. Just an incidents rather of 2 cars getting together and really not a lot of critical damage. So all in all, it's going to be a loss of track position, of course, for Holberg, but there is a lot of racing to go yet.
It's going to happen the next time through into turn number 3 from the looks of things. He started 5th, did Double H, and was working into the top 3 pretty nicely. It should happen right here. You see Eisel digging the bottom, and he just gets down to the inside of the 99. There it is, gets to him, and they're 3 wide into 1, and Eisel just misses the bottom, turns him right around, and he goes for a spin, noses into the wall, and that's it for him.
And if Eisel's looking at his virtual mirror, he's in quite the awkward position with Holberg on his outside, and then he also sees a pretty hard charge from Travis Miller on the inside as well.
So certainly not too much reason for concern just yet. I think that was a solid bit of green flag racing here from the BRP guys at Charlotte. Only 13 cars this evening. Certainly the summer season has taken an impact on the car count. So if you're out here on iRacing and you want to run with a bunch of real-life dirt car drivers, you can do so to regroup with these guys, or I should say group for the first time with these guys in advance for the fall season. Hit up the BRP iRacing series on Facebook. I'm sure you can get joined in on the fun here with the BRP iRacing series on PitStop TV. We'll come back to the restart zone here at Charlotte and get this one going one more time. Maxime Plant, the race leader, and we're back underway at Charlotte.
And his jump on the field there really opened the door for Alan Slight on the inside line. He's going to have a lot of pressure now from Gavin Eisel. Not going to elect to try to go all the way to the top side. Slight going to stay committed to the bottom there, pretty close to the tires, in fact. So we come to the completion of lap 10, already a quarter of the way through the running, and we are having a lot of fun in the midfield.
Travis Miller, I said he was nowhere to be found. Well, now he is here battling for third place all over the back end of Alan Slight. Works the bottom side, and behind that two-car catches the tire, and problems for the thriller Travis Miller. No caution yet. We're waiting for it. There it is.
And during that run, we will get about 3 laps in, and yet again, a incident of misfortune for Travis Miller in a season that has just been filled with it. And sure, he's gotten 3 wins, and he's had quite a bit of success. But I think, the race so far, or rather his evening so far, has been quite the summary of really how his season's been up to this point.
And that it has, unfortunately, just not his night here at Charlotte. Was looking for an opportunity to maybe make up some points here on the points leader. Oh, and he gets tagged initially from Gavin Eisel. It's the tiniest bit of contact, but now we do have a common denominator in our first 2 cautions. Nothing, I think, certainly that Gavin has done wrong. Although, you know what? We just saw something under caution coming to the green flag that tells a little bit more of the story. This is a replay again. Here comes Travis Miller. Right up to Gavin, none too happy.
I think that's the proper way to go about it if you do want to show a little bit of displeasure. There was no actual legitimate contact between the 2 cars. So, yeah, I think a message is sent and no harm is really, made as a result.
I couldn't agree more as we work lap number 12 under caution. Of course, we do not count caution laps here in the BRP iRacing series. Well, aside from heats and that one feature at USA, I suppose, but that was done for fuel. And we still had a fuel mileage race, didn't we, Trey, at USA? What a race, what a finish that one was where Maxime Plant ran out, coming to the line, held on to the win. That was just a couple of weeks ago. But here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for one final time this season. A little under 30 laps to go, and we don't have a pink time limit flag like those boys do for the summer shootout. We've got a little ways to go here, and that's going to feel a bit like an enduro. Coming down to the restart one more time, Maxime Plant fires off, and away you saw how squirrely he got. We're back green.
And with the jumps he's getting on these initial starts, it's making me think that it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat the gentleman tonight without a longer run. Heading through 3 and 4 here, running on the back end of that 79 Pro late model, and he's doing an effective job so far of holding out the field with those slight looks to the inside, and I think this is the best run he's had so far.
Not necessarily the biggest gap he's had so far, but certainly Alan Slight is rather close. This is the best shot we've had from anybody for the race lead. Look at Slight all over the back end of that 79 car. Now points it down to the inside, and Alan Slight working that bottom, digging down low, putting his nose on those tires, and trying to find some grip down there in the moisture. Look at all of that wet clay down to the bottom side at Charlotte. It's not quite enough that time. By caution flag flies. It's Dean Meitzler.
Meitzler, another driver who seemed to have had a fair bit of misfortune this season tonight, and it looks like it's going to continue here on lap 16. We'll get about 4 laps in on that run here at the dirt track at Charlotte.
And it looks like this may also involve Travis Miller on lap 15 of 40. It is now lap 16 of 40. We ticked across the line just as the caution was coming out. Here's Dean Meitzler, the middle of the pack, comes up, gets a little tap there from Ryder Schrauf, and walls. And then really collects Travis Miller. My goodness.
I would have to think that Miller's going to have to go for his one available fast repair tonight as a result. I look and I do see him down on the pit lane, looking to come to the service of his virtual pit crew here at the dirt track at Charlotte. So we'll see if he gets back out and away. Now we'll go up to the tower and see what the perspective was for Miller. And yeah, that was quite the hit for the 22.
Yeah, that one's going to feel like a sucker punch right to the teeth, much like the ending to this season. So many great opportunities, so many great runs. We know he's a championship contending driver. He's done so twice here on PitStop TV. It just has not worked out for him this season. It gets more and more painful to watch the hits keep coming for Travis Miller. The only big mistake that I can think of for him making this season, that I could think that he made, was Kokomo. Unfortunately, it turned out to cost him some 6 to 8 points thereabouts, and I mean, that wouldn't help anything now, certainly not, but it would have had him closer last week at Fairbury. I mean, it would have been that little bit closer. It wouldn't have felt like such a punch in the teeth to be so far behind at this point. But that all said, we've still got over half a race here at Charlotte, over half a feature to go, and he's still got time to get back up there. Green flag flies over the 79 and the 2. Green flag back out at Charlotte.
And because of how great of a run Slight had there, he's going to be at a disadvantage. He will not be on the bottom this time, and now he's going to get a little bit loose, and he's going to fade into the midfield for the time being. So Slight is going to have a lot of work to get back up to where he was.
A little bit of contact from Hilton helped that decline for the 2 car. Now side by side for second go the 21 and 11. Throw another double number in, and it's the 44 to the bottom side of Tanner Correa. The Wild Child working way down low, almost into the grass there in 3 and 4. He's got second for a moment. Drag race doesn't have him cleared. He'll try one more time in 1 and 2. Not quite going to happen. Side by side, they'll stay. Oh, contact. 4 wide.
Still 4 wide through the middle of the corner. Someone's going to eventually have to give as we get to the straightaway. Still double file and still quite... Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there between... It'll be the 44 and the 21 of Fisher. Still 3 wide through the back straightaway and heading into 3. The one getting clear, it's going to be Jamie Porter into the second position.
And you saw Correa wall the 21, 4 wide again. Hunter Reeve gets in it. Travis Miller backs out. My goodness, guys, the drag strip is a little further north of you. You don't want to go 4 wide here, but they are making it happen. Miller's right back in the fray as these guys battle and slow themselves down. Jamie Porter gets off and away scot-free from this battle, but it's not over for third. Miller now rip at the top. He's right on the back end of the 21 car of Brett Fisher. Contact there. Correa gives him a body slam. They keep racing down to 3 and 4. Lap 22 will be in the books this time across the stripe. Hunter Reeve side by side again with Brett Fisher.
You opened the broadcast, Andrew, saying very simply, there's no better place to close out a season. I think this is why we're seeing exactly. I almost think back to, say, NASCAR stock cars at Homestead Miami Speedway. We're seeing a lot of multi-lane action, and I think it's just proving to be a lot of fun on a very high-speed track. The battles continue for these midfield positions, and in fact, one of these positions is that last podium position. Fisher holding tight on the top side for the time being, and that's Travis Miller that we're seeing really starting to dart up towards that third spot for the time being.
Look at how spread out they are as well. Love this overhead shot from our blimp high above. And you can see everybody now starting to go up high, but they've really gotten spread out here at Charlotte. And that's just what happens now. Miller going to run the middle to bottom, if you will. Runs right through some of that kicked up fluff, as Kevin Swindell put it, for the truck race at Knoxville. And now right back up to the cushion. 1 and 2. It works that time. Drives right to the back end of Brett Fisher. Now to the inside. A slide job for the driver of the 22. And the Thriller thrills again.
The Thriller stays fairly planted on the bottom side there, having to do a lot of throttle modulation, but it gets the job done. And now he has about 3.5 seconds that he has to close between himself and Maxine Plant. Of course, Jamie Porter will also be in the way, but that 22 is charging, and he is charging quite aggressively.
Look at these guys trying to get 3 abreast one more time. Hunter Reeve maybe going to think low. He goes low of the 11 of Tanner Correa. 3 wide that time through 1 and 2. They're all kind of falling back. Oh, almost contact, but they keep it aside from one another. And the 11 now right back down to the bottom side. He's becoming a bottom feeder, much like Gavin Eisel, who's just been moved out of that position maybe by Alan Slight. These guys all getting after it here in the midfield. Meanwhile, it is all Maxime Plant up in front of the field. Look at this. Over 2 seconds back to Jamie Porter in second.
And interestingly, well, we saw him on the bottom in 3 and 4, but he's going to stay pretty committed to 1 and 2. But I was expecting, when we cut up forward to see what Plant was doing, I was expecting him to be rather fairly committed on the top side in all of the corners. But it's very interesting to see this combination. And you know what? It's working. It's getting the job done. Miller really hasn't been able to close that gap, and it's been relatively consistent between him and Porter as well.
Flashback to this battle further back. There's still the battle for 4th place. Korea noses ahead. Now it's Fisher into 3. He works that top side right up on the dry slick, right up on the cushion, but it's working out up there. But I say that and look at the 11 clear him off the bottom. Something is rolling down low. Usually I see sprint cars out for the bottom side, but it's working for these late models this evening. The Pro Dirt late models, that is. You see the 11 working on kind of that bottom cushion, if you will, right on the bottom edge of that fluff, and he is gaining so much time on Brett Fisher. I think the top side certainly starting to fall off. Now the 22 slowing down a little bit as well. Travis Miller losing a little bit of steam. Look at all those cars, though, still bunched up.
And these drivers deserve a massive amount of credit for being able to race rather the way they are tonight, because as this track wears, even whether it be real life or in the iRacing side of things here at the dirt track at Charlotte, this track gets incredibly abrasive and incredibly bumpy. So these guys are doing an incredibly impressive job as we come to what will be the final 6 laps of the season. Caution flag waves, though.
Caution right there, I would imagine, for that slow 99 on your screen of Hunter Hulberg. So the Double H machine with a problem one more time. Let's take a look at things for Hunter Hulberg. Oh, and he's gonna, he gets a little bit of help. This is an interesting bit of help as well. Keep your eyes on the blue 45. I was getting ready to say that Jimmy Porter was starting to catch up to one Maxime Plant. He was making inroads on that lead from 2.2 seconds down to 1.8, and then this happens right in turns 3 and 4, over rotation from the 99, and Jamie just gives him a little bit of help around.
Yeah, we'll see that happen from time to time. I feel like Porter also came to the corner just having a lot more momentum than that of the competitor ahead of him, and he just wasn't able to anticipate that. And the line he was taking as well onto the entry of the corner kind of had him committed towards more of the bottom. So it's just one of those awkward scenarios, and he tried to avoid, and it just doesn't quite happen. And it's really going to change the game here. It's still going to take a lot to beat Plan, of course, but it really opens the door for a mistake.
It opens the door for a whole lot. It's going to be tough to get there. And we saw Alan Slight have a pretty good try of things the last time we restarted this field. But he had a couple of restarts to learn from Maxime Plant. These guys don't know. They have one more shot, more than likely, to take a crack at the 79 car for the race win. And Jamie Porter, we love the guy. He got his first win of his career here in the BRP iRacing Series at Bristol earlier this season, but I just don't know that he's got what it takes to bring this fight to Maxime Plant, and it looks like with 6 laps to go, we're lining up single file. This is working entirely against the rest of the field and entirely for Maxime Plant. This is a dream scenario for the driver of the 79. He has nobody alongside of him. He's just got to pull away here on this restart. Interesting call. Green flag flies. We're back green flag with 5 laps to go.
Coming across the start finish line, he has a couple of car links, and I thought he might expose himself by going to the top side, but the competitor behind him in Porter is going to elect to also go to the top side. So at least for the time being, Plant is going to remain in control here as the battle is now on for third between Correa and Travis Miller. The Thriller doing, well, quite simply putting on quite the show, coming back up through the field.
Yeah, Miller back into a podium position, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up there and assert himself, as he's been trying to do these last couple of weeks. Porter, though, with 3 laps to go now, into second place. He was starting to make up time on on Maxime. Can he do it again? It doesn't look like it. That top side working now for the 79 car. He pulls away that time into 3 and 4. On board now with Jamie Porter, and you can see it's just not working out. That 79 car is getting smaller and smaller, although that time, things looking a little bit good for the 45. It's just not enough.
Yeah, only lap and a half left in the season, and I think it's a race that has summarized a lot of the frustrations of some drivers, but a lot of the tribulations of others, such as the driver who is currently leading, and that's Maxime Plant by quite a margin. It's the Tucson Sound Art white flag here at the dirt track at Charlotte.
For the final time this season through turns 3 and 4, the white flag is out. Now the checkers for the white, black, and orange 79, a championship and a win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. He has closed out one of the most spectacular seasons on iRacing that I've ever seen. 7 wins in 13 races, never finished worse than third in a heat race, and now a 7-race streak of finishing first, second, or third. Maxime Plant is your BRP iRacing Series champion. And if it wasn't a big enough insult to Travis Miller this season, he doesn't even place on the podium after that battle with Tanner Correa. The hits keep on coming for the 22. Meanwhile, it's all celebration for the gentleman.
Yeah, and he faced a lot of pressure. I think those, or rather, I think he got a few more restarts than at least I was expecting. And each time he did a, fairly effective job of executing. The one time I think that he, had a little bit of troubles is when Alan Slate was doing quite an effective job on the bottom, but then, a little bit of luck goes his way. But the luck combines with execution, both in qualifying and the heat racing for Maxime Plant. And of course, as a result, it just summarizes a championship season. What a job for the driver for the 79, the gentleman.
Maxime Plant gets it done. He is the champion here in the BRP iRacing series. Jamie Porter takes second. You see Tanner Correa in third. We will take a step aside as per usual. Don't go anywhere. A lot of post-race coverage is on the way, as well as extended interviews. So if you're a fan out there that hasn't gotten a chance to hear from your favorite driver in the field, just wait. You might get to hear from him here in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. PitStop TV with continuing coverage of the BRP iRacing series.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
What a season now that it's come to a close here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Maxime Plant takes another race win and a championship along with it. 0.4 of a mile each lap certainly was the magic formula. It was a fantastic night of racing here at Charlotte, and it's all capped off by the gentleman, the number 79. We've talked to him oh so much this season. Let's talk to him one more time. Maxime, what a season, buddy, and you cap it off with a dominant race win.
Yeah, that's a really good race tonight. I'm really happy to finish first on this track because that's my favorite track on iRacing. So yeah, that's an amazing night.
Certainly, it was trouble for Travis Miller from the drop of the green flag in heat number 1 because you were all over him. You pressured him into a mistake or so, and you got on by him. You won that heat, and it's been heats that I think have really helped win you this championship. Maxime, I went back through some stats. You only finished third once. Otherwise, every single heat, first or second. That consistency, is that something you work on? Is that something you practice? Is that something you can even prep for? Or does it just come naturally?
I don't practice a lot on iRacing, but I want to try to do the same thing in real life. No, so on iRacing, yeah, for the championship, I know you need to be consistent every time on the top of the leaderboard. You don't need to win, but you need to stay on the top 3 every time if you want to be able to get the championship, and that's what I try to do. I don't really watch the stats, so thank you to tell me this. That's really cool. Yeah, but yeah, so what you say about the heat race, yeah, me and Travis do a really good heat race, but when he do a slide job on my screen, I never see I touch him. I just brake and go down, and after that I just see Travis on my mirror do a spin out, and I really confused for this. So and I watch the replay again and again, and I don't understand why the hitbox do this for Travis, but I'm really sad for this.
Well, it may not be the way you wanted it in that regard, but certainly another win. You're over 50% on the season. I've not seen a season like this on iRacing, at least in a very long time. How do you wrap up this kind of season?
I don't really understand 100% your question, but I think talk about the championship, and yeah, I'm so really happy to get this championship because in real life I have a lot of difficulty because I need to I don't really find the fine tuning for my setup on my modify, so I try to be better on iRacing to understand the track, understand the groove, understand everything, and I try to put this on the in real life to make a good driver. That's helped me because on the time trial, I think not every time, but really close. I'm the fastest lap on time trial, and I can be in front in heat race, but for the feature I got a little bit difficulty. So so when I race with you guys on iRacing, and I see I can be a podium, or that's make me really happy for this.
Well, Maxime, that's another win. And again, it caps off almost a perfect season for you, buddy. Soak this one up, celebrate this one. But before we go, I'm going to ask you one more time. I've asked you, I think, 13 times this season, I would imagine. Who do you have to thank, buddy? Who makes it happen for you?
Yes, again and again, thank you guys for the stream, for the race, for the season. You do really good stuff and awesome job. Thanks a lot for this, and thanks a lot for my family watching my race every night, and thanks a lot for my sponsor. Stay with me for the iRacing series and the real life series. Thanks a lot, guys.
Maxime Plant, a champion now in the BRP iRacing series. Buddy, congratulations. Live this one up. We'll see you next season.
Yes, thank you, sir.
The gentleman wraps it up, and again, it's just a season that a season like no other. I don't know many other ways to put that one, Trey, and he put it his best way as well. Just an incredible season. Doesn't even do a whole lot of practice, and he wishes he could do that in the real car as well. Well, at some point, I think something's going to break, and something, well, in the good way, something is going to go right in the real car, because this guy has got this stuff figured out, and I can't wait to see what he does in his real life endeavors as well. That said, he came home just ahead of the number 45 on the racetrack. It's Jamie Porter in second place, and Trey is alongside with him.
And Jamie Porter was relatively consistent tonight, and sure, got into a little bit of contact with some of his competitors throughout the running, but I think a second place would cap off a pretty consistent season for the driver of the 45. Jamie, what are your initial feelings getting out of the car, and both in terms of the race tonight and the season overall?
The race started out a little rough with that heat race there, but that's just racing. Can't harp on myself too much for that, but congrats to Max for starters on the championship there. He really deserved that one. But the season went pretty well, actually. I didn't really expect too much coming into it, just kind of a fun hangout on a Monday night. But after a couple races there, we ended up being fourth in points, so tried to keep it consistent. So other than that, it went pretty well.
You're one of an elite few to be able to pick up a win this season, Jamie. I think only 5 drivers picked up a win. Would you have thought coming in that you would have gotten more or less than that one victory that you got at Bristol?
Honestly, I didn't expect to win at all this season with the competition that we have in here. We got some of the best guys going right now. So having my name in that list of winners this season is just still unreal.
All right. Thank you for your time, Jamie. Very impressive season. Most likely going to round out the points in 4th place with that one victory to your name. Of course, it takes a lot of partners for any driver to get to the racetrack, whether it be real or virtual. Who do you have to thank, friends, family, partners-wise?
Yeah, I got a list here. First of all, Evergreen Thrift Store. Nick helps me out a lot with racing and just puts a lot of effort into this team. Miller's Auto Detailing. Travis, great to race against. He always drives me clean. Helps me with the lines and stuff, where to run, and just gives me tips along the way. Beef Esports, Beef, Hunter, Travis again, all those guys over there. It's an awesome team to be a part of. Can't thank them enough. MDR Designs for giving me a sweet wrap to run every week. Arrington Property Maintenance. Everybody here at the BRP iRacing series, it's a great group of guys. Can't say enough good things about those guys. And you guys for sure for putting on this show and getting our name out there. Then my family, all my friends, and the girlfriend.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. A great way to cap off the season, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you going forward here with the BRP iRacing series.
Thank you.
So it'll be a 2nd place tonight, and most likely he'll round out the season 4th place in points. And that was a very impressive season in the field that we had, and it looks like we'll have the driver of the 11, Tanner Correa, next. Andrew.
Yeah, speaking of impressive seasons, it's an impressive rookie season here for Tanner Correa. Buddy, we haven't talked to you a whole lot this season at all, but it was always fun to watch you grow and learn with these guys, and we learned a whole lot about you as well as the season went on. Lately, you've turned up the wick. You finished 3rd this evening at Charlotte. How'd you do it?
To be honest, this race was completely a blur to me. It went by so quick. I really feel like the turning point for me was getting past Adam and switching over to the bottom side before anyone else did. I wasn't able to run that top, and I just made it work on the bottom.
So we talk about that season, and you certainly trending up as we came to a close this season of the BRP iRacing series. How do you wrap up the entire 13-race schedule? How do you kind of, I guess, put a conclusion to it all for you?
For me, I think it was all about improvement this season. This is my first year ever being on a sim and first ever league. And I feel like over the course of the races, I definitely improved from the start to finish. That's all I can ask for.
Santa Correa certainly improving. Well, you did improve a ton, buddy. You deserve many pats on the back after this one. Congrats on a third-place finish this evening as well. A podium is always going to feel good and help you in the points. We'll see how it all tabulates after this evening. Buddy, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out here to wrap up a season?
We got CCM Gaming, my gaming page on Facebook. MDR Designs, Matt DeReer does a fabulous job wrapping paints and everything like that. Creative Turnings, my dad's wood turning business. Wouldn't be possible without him. My family, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, they support me through whatever I do. And especially the BRP iRacing series, such a great group of guys. And thank you guys especially for putting on such a great show. It gives people a chance to like enjoy real life through all this COVID stuff through a virtual game. So
absolutely. It's been a wild year and a half. We've been so glad to have you and everybody here at the BRP iRacing series along for the ride. Tanner, buddy, once again, congrats on a third-place finish. Congrats on a pretty solid season. Can't wait to see you in the fall.
thank you, bud.
Santa Correa wrapping up an amazing season. Certainly a lot to work on. A lot has been worked on and a lot to build from, I think is the better way to put it for the 11 car. Gets it done here. Finishes third this evening at Charlotte ahead of this guy who ends up taking second place in the championship, but I think first place potentially in all of our hearts, Travis Miller.
And Travis Miller will round out the season with a fourth place result here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it seemed like you were up and down the leaderboard, Travis. Just to get the ball rolling here, what are your initial feelings getting out of the virtual cockpit after what was a very up and down day?
I'm not too sure. It's just it's a little frustrating. I mean, we had a good heat race going, and then things didn't go our way there, and started in the back. Got to the field pretty good, and then got turned in 4 there, and then came to the field again, and then got turned on the back going to 3, and then just kind of ran out of time. I really wanted to try the bottom there at the end of the race, but Tanner was real consistent down there, and I just wanted to be able to get just enough ahead of him to where I could kind of swap lanes with him, but I wasn't able to do it. And on the last lap, I really just kind of threw a Hail Mary there, and we ended up finishing 4th.
And then just to expand upon tonight, it was a 13-race season. You come up a little bit shy of Maxime Plant. Was there ever a point where you really gave up? We knew coming in it was going to be really tough to get the job done over the last couple of races, but was there ever a point where you as a race car driver thought, well, this just simply can't be done, or was it an attitude more so of never give up?
Well, you always have the doubt when you're looking at the points. It's tough. It's discouraging to look at for sure. When you're ahead in the points, it's real easy to just kind of ride and not take too many chances. But when you're behind, you really gotta kind of get up on the wheel and hope for the best outcome. But in the Bluegrass series in the first season, we were down in the points going into the last night, and you just have to have that mentality of anything could happen, and you never know what's going to happen. So you just got to go out and give it your best. And unfortunately for us, Maxime's just real consistent, and he had a great night tonight, as you guys all saw, obviously. And we just didn't have the best one, and that's kind of the way our season's gone. We've been up and down and hot and cold, and he's just been real consistent, top 3, top 5 runs. So we just got something to build on, and we'll come better next time.
Good to hear, Travis. So yeah, after this race tonight, you'll round out your third season here with the BRP iRacing series, at least on the PitStop TV side of things. Can we expect you back going forward? And then if so, what is the mindset going to be going into that upcoming season in the fall?
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be back. I think I don't know when our next season's going to be, but we'll definitely be back for sure. It's always fun racing. With work and stuff, it gets a little busy during the week, but we always got time for one night a week for sure. And the next season that comes up, we're going to go out and we're going to try and win every race and win the championship there too. So hopefully it can be done, and we'll see what happens.
We appreciate your time, Travis. Before you head out, of course, you have to go out there and thank the partners that make things happen as a race car driver. Is there anyone out there, both in terms of partners and friends and family, that you have to thank?
Yeah, I just got to shout out Miller's Auto Detailing, Gass's Auto Sales, Jam Performance, MDR Designs, BP Sports. Shout out to the 17C boys, CC Performance Engines, and you guys for putting this on.
We appreciate it, Travis, and look forward to seeing you more going forward here with the BRP iRacing series here. BRP iRacing series here on PitStop TV, and congratulations on the runner-up finish in the points.
For sure, guys. Thank you.
He kind of talked about it a bit, but yeah, it's been a very hot and cold season for Travis Miller. So to walk away with second place, I think is pretty impressive, and he picks up a handful of wins as well, Andrew.
Yeah, Travis Miller, 3 wins on the season, wraps up a pretty solid season. Any other time, and against any other driver, and this would be stellar for Travis Miller. Unfortunately, it's just not good enough when you've got to race against a guy like Maxime Plant. But he comes in and finishes ahead of this guy, well, the guy on the outside there, the black, yellow, and pink 21 car. He's alongside with us. It's Brett Fisher. Now, Brett, we've talked to you on the channel once before, and that was after winning the LTAC All-Star race at Bristol on the dirt. Now, on the dirt a little bit more, but in a late model. How did the season go? We really did not get to check in with you much, but it was a pretty solid season, albeit around the midfield.
Yeah, well, first, I'm not Brett. Sorry about that.
My bad. That's Tyler Pachalski. 21 cars, they can mix you up when it's a couple of different 21 cars. But you know what? We can flex. You're Tyler Pachalski then in this number 121. And that kind of gets me to my point that we haven't talked to you guys a whole lot. We want to make sure we talk to you guys here before the end of the season. Tyler, we've seen a lot of this yellow 21 car throughout the seasons, be it on a sprint car. I can think back to Williams Grove. For some reason, that race sticks out to me in the sprint cars 2 seasons ago. The modifieds last season, that yellow 21 was there. This season, still a yellow 21. I guess, how do you encapsulate the last 3 seasons then here on PitStop TV with the BRP iRacing series?
Just need to spend some more time on this. It's kind of tough to get enough hours in during the week, but I think if we get some more in, we could probably contend for some wins.
Well, contend for wins, I think you will. Certainly, we've seen you perform big time in some of these heat races this season and a lot of promising runs. We don't know exactly, at least I don't know exactly off the top of my head, what car we're going to next, but looking forward to the 4th season then that we've had with you guys or will have with you guys. How do you try and build for that season?
Whatever comes out, just get down and spend some hours and hopefully get a little bit better and see if we can't get up there out front with Max and them guys. They seem to be pretty fast every week, so just try and get to that point.
Well, Tyler checked in a little bit late, but made the heat race, made the feature, finishes 8th this evening behind Alan Slight and in front of Hunter Reeve. You see the battle in slow-mo on your screen now. Buddy, it was a lot of fun watching that yellow 21 the last few seasons. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out? Who makes it happen for you?
Oh, I gotta thank the wife, for letting me sit down every week and not get on me too much, but we're having some fun and hopefully we can continue to have some more fun.
Tyler Pachalski finishing 8th place this evening, but certainly, again, a lot to build off of from this season. I can't wait to see what you can do in the future, buddy. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night, guys.
So Tyler Pachalski rounds things out in that yellow 21. I would say famous at this point, yellow 21. And we move things on then to Gavin Eisel, a little bit up the road now in that black 18. We'll hand things off. We don't have Gavin Eisel either, so we'll hand things off then to Alan Slight in the number 2 car, Trey Shuttlesworth.
Thank you, Andrew. And Alan Slight, it's a pleasure to talk to you tonight. And you had a fairly up and down night. You were putting up a pretty impressive run with the eventual race winner in Maxime Plant, but unfortunately things go awry on a restart where you get shuffled back through the field. What are your initial feelings getting out of the virtual cockpit?
So I had to start on the outside, and then I ditched it.
Yeah, that is an important point that you bring up. The fact that when you did have things start to go awry, you didn't have that bottom side, which you were really able to work to your advantage. So otherwise, looking beyond tonight, what are the feelings to be able to walk away with this season with what's probably going to be a 9th place result in the points?
Sorry, Andrew. I think you're talking to me right now. I'm just not sure.
Yep.
Okay. To be honest, man, this is the most fun that I've had in a long time. Racing with guys, iRacing in general. I'm a very computer illiterate person. I'm an electrician by trade, but you know, with all the COVID, everything that's been happening, I decided to put a rig together. And to be honest, I don't even race in any of the lobbies anymore. I just like to race with the leagues because everybody's awesome. And yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to learning a little bit more.
Well, we appreciate your time then, Alan, and thank you for taking the time to come in here with your level of, if you will, technical expertise. But yeah, otherwise, before you head out, how does it feel to walk away with what's probably going to be about 9th place in the points?
Oh, it feels terrible, but you know what? At least it'll give me something to work towards.
Yeah, that's great mindset.
I do want to just thank you guys, Corby, everybody at BRP. Just for putting this on. Like I said, man, I haven't had this much fun behind a computer, I don't think ever. So I think it's a really cool deal, and I would love to be a part of some more.
All right, Alan, you thanked the series partners. Anyone else you want to thank before you head out tonight?
Probably my wife, because typically I'm down there starting to practice at 7:30, and my kids go to bed at around 8. So sometimes it gets a little tense, so I got to thank her for sure.
Of course, and congratulations on a 7th place, Alan. Probably not what you wanted, but a lot to look forward to, I think, going forward.
Absolutely. Tonight was my first night ever running Charlotte dirt track ever. So I hopped on. I got home from work at 6:30 and ran a few laps, and we went racing. So I believe with a little bit more practice and a little bit more time, we can get better.
We look forward to it in the upcoming seasons, Alan. And he'll round out the season probably near the back end of the top 10 in points, and it'll be 7th place for Alan Slight.
And we'll move on down then to the one and the only Dean Meitzler in the number 49 car. Now, Dean Meitzler took on a couple of different car numbers throughout the season, but we all remember that silver bullet, that 49, and those couple of throwbacks. They were fantastic, but you're working on your own signature look here, Dean. It was a pretty solid season, certainly a lot of troubles back there in the back, but as with a lot of these guys in the field, as with everybody in the field, a lot to build off of looking forward to next season.
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of fun this season. Enjoyed it and learned a lot. And I'll take what I learned this season and put it towards next season.
You mentioned taking what you've learned this season and applying it to the future. What did you learn? What stands out to you throughout this season? Certainly a lot of lessons, I would say. And I think over the last 3 seasons, from 360 sprint cars to big block modifieds last season and now to these Pro Dirt late models, what do you take and what do you apply to the future?
Oh, absolutely. Throttle control. I mean, just basically trying to get the feel for the throttle in the car, how it reacts on the track, how the track slicks off. Once that track slicks off, it's something I still have to adjust and learn from. But these guys, they've been always wanting to help, and I have a great time every time I get on here and race with these guys. And I want to thank you guys for putting on a great show every week. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. But yeah, absolutely look forward to the next season that's coming up.
Dean, you already thanked a few people there, and I got to tell you, we haven't talked to you yet. This is the first time, and I can tell you're from Pennsylvania. You're saying "use guys." Go ahead and tell everybody else on the channel. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Dean Meitzler.
Oh, I basically kind of grew up around racing. My dad used to take us to Grandview Speedway. Thank you guys for debuting the 2 cars that I put together as a tribute for my uncle and my cousin this year. I was really appreciative. My family enjoyed watching it, and grew up around dirt track racing. Big NASCAR fan. I was a Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan for a long, long time, and until we lost him, and followed Dale Earnhardt Jr. for a while. Kind of got off of NASCAR a little bit, and once COVID hit, and I saw iRacing a bunch of times, and I thought, well, what the heck? Let's give it a try. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm a huge gamer. I do enjoy doing that. So I picked up the rig and got everything set up. And I can't thank my wife enough for supporting me throughout this whole thing with my interest in iRacing and the time I put into it. She's been a huge supporter. She watches the races every week. So.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, here on PitStop TV is a driver profile that I would say on Dean Meitzler. Dean, it's been fantastic talking to you this evening. Just a little bit of time, but we thank you so much for it. It was a great season watching you battle with all of these guys throughout the field. I can't wait to see what's next for you. Best of luck out there.
Thanks. You two guys have a good one, and thanks again for all the shows every week.
Absolutely wouldn't be possible without you and everybody else in the field, and that's Dean Meitzler in the number 49. It's good to finally talk to this guy. We've collaborated with him, as he mentioned, a couple of times this season. He ran a couple of throwbacks to family members of his that used to race around Grandview Speedway and other places up around your neck of the woods there, Trey. It's good to finally talk with Dean Meitzler, the driver of the 49 here in the BRP iRacing Series. That said, we're going to wrap around to somebody we tried talking to earlier on. It's the driver of the 21 car, and he's headed your way, Trey.
Thank you, Andrew. And we will get to speak to the driver who had a pretty consistent showing tonight in Brett Fisher. So, yeah, initially, how does it feel to walk away with a 5th place showing here at Charlotte? It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I felt like we could have done a little better. I thought we were going to be, a top 3 car, but I just didn't practice on the bottom enough, and I was just, I was just more comfortable on the top, and it started to go away, and I just had to stay there, just to be comfortable. But I'll take a top 5, and it's been a great year.
Yeah, that's great that you mentioned your season, Brett. I wanted to ask you a little bit about that because I think a 5th place kind of backs up what your season has mostly been, which is, a lot of mid-pack running. You'll probably finish the points in around 7th place. What are the initial feelings on getting that result in the point standings, and how would you hope to improve upon that going forward?
A 7th place is good. It's my first year, racing these, first year in a league. It would have been a little better if I would have missed last week, just due to family stuff. But going forward, like I said, I'm just gonna, practice, get some seat time. This is maybe my 15th race on a late model. So just seat time is gonna be the biggest thing for me, and just continue to race for the BRP iRacing Series.
Thank you for your time, Brett. And before you head out, are there any partners, friends, family that you'd like to thank in getting you to this point?
BRP for sure. You guys, PitStop TV, Warrior Wraps for the nice wrap I got on my car, and then my family. They backed me up this whole time. They watched me back at home in Iowa. And then obviously my wife, she goes out there and does the dishes and stuff while I'm in here racing. So I just really want to thank her.
All right, thank you for your time, Brett. We appreciate it a bunch, and I'm sure we'll get to talk to you going forward here at the BRP iRacing Series as we pick up again in the fall.
All right, thank you.
So Brett Fisher, he's going to finish a pretty solid top 5. He was putting on quite the show there, making a lot of lines work, and I think to walk away with 5th is a fair enough showing for a driver who had a pretty consistent season.
Certainly fair enough showings across the board. These are your unofficial results after quite the lengthy postseason show, if you will. Maxime Plant wraps things up with a 2.5 margin of victory back to Jamie Porter there for 2nd, then Tanner Correa in 3rd. We talked with all these guys, most of these guys at least. Travis Miller finishes 4th this evening, Trey. It's a good way to round out a season any other time, but given the scope of the situation with the points and everything, it just doesn't feel quite like maybe it should for Travis Miller, and certainly leaving a lot to be wished for.
Yeah, but the good news is, whether it be real life or virtual motorsports, the fact that you can always look forward to next season, and there's a lot of opportunities to make up for any mistakes that you may have on a racetrack. I think that, that's purely the fun of it, is just the fact that there's always room to improve, and there's a lot of unpredictability in it. So yeah, to look beyond where Travis Miller finished at the 4th place spot, we just spoke to Brett Fisher. He's going to finish 5th place. He'll be followed by the guy who probably finishes 3rd place in the point standings, and Gavin Eisel. Alan Slight, after making that inside line work on a couple of restarts, he gets shuffled back after restarting on the outside line one occasion, and it's going to result in a 7th place finish. And then it'll be Tyler Pacholski with that 8th place showing.
A little further back, you see Hunter Reeve and Hunter Hulbert, a couple of hunters hunting for some more speed back there, if you will. Hopefully they find it next season, because certainly a lot of promise from those guys throughout this season of Pro Dirt. Late models just, I think, need to be a little further north in the results for some more promising points finishes down the road. A little further back, you find Ryder Schrauf in his return to the series. Very quiet night for him, along with Adam Hilton, who was in the front for a while, restarted up front a couple of times straight, just got moved back on one of those restarts and never shuffled himself back up to the front. And Dean Meitzer unfortunately rounds out the field after a big hit with he and Travis Miller. But what a season it was. I gotta ask you, Trey, we're gonna ask for a couple of final thoughts. First, final thoughts on this race to wrap things up from Charlotte.
Of course. So, honestly, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect from this car and track combination. It does seem like Charlotte can be awkward with certain combinations, but I think what we saw is a track that is very conducive for multiple groups of racing. I think the other thing that was awesome is just the fact that you didn't necessarily need a slick track for it to be very effective for multi-group racing. We saw in heat racing a lot of slide jobs being thrown and a lot of lanes being used quite effectively by these race car drivers. Ultimately, the best driver of the series picks up the win as well. And we see a lot of guys who really put on very impressive runs, and a lot of guys who can really use this momentum going forward with whatever car and combination of dirt ovals that we get in the fall with the BRP iRacing series.
Absolutely. A great way to wrap things up. A very racy racetrack here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as should be expected, I would say, at this point in time. Do want to thank all of our partners here with the BRP iRacing series, the Bicknell Racing products, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series, of course, as well as Matt DeRitter Designs, MDR Designs, putting several of these paint schemes on the track, as well as Jam Performance on several of these cars, Pete Costco Haulage and Miller's Auto Detailing, always riding on board that number 22 car here in the BRP iRacing series. We also want to give a big shout out, as per usual, to our partners here at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art, now the white flag sponsor. How about that? Isn't that cool to always say the white flag? As you can see it waving in the replay as well back there. Look up at the flag stand, the white flag waving, presented by Tucson Sound Art, as well as Race Pace Setups. Pick up pace with Race Pace. Actually, I gotta go back to Tucson Sound Art now. Partnering with Robert Pattengale and Company over at Tucson Sound Art has been a dream come true, honestly. This is a fantastic product. You see the ads that are put out by Oncia, I think is how you pronounce the manufacturer of the product, but Tucson Sound Art puts the canvas on the product for you and facilitates all of that, and they do a fantastic job of it. We don't just talk about this product. It's not just like one of those other YouTube ads where they just ask you to talk about something. No, I've held this product. I have this product on my wall. I listen to it frequently, almost all the time, actually, when I'm making these broadcast graphics or what have you. It's great to listen to music on, and you can grab a discount code PitStop TV and get 10% off of your order today at TucsonSoundArt.com. It is a Bluetooth speaker. It's inside of this fantastic canvas box, if you will, that goes up on your wall. A couple of screws and it's hooked up. It's very, very easy to put up on your wall. Looks great, sounds great too. Check them out at Tucson Sound Art, and then check out Tyler Campbell and everybody over at Race Pace Setups, and you can pick up pace with Race Pace. You can check out Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine on Facebook at their website, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, and on Instagram at Permanent Makeup in Maine. A lot of great stuff happening over there as well. There's still time to get up into whatever summer shape or whatever summer looks you're looking for. So if you're up in the great state of Maine or the surrounding area, check them out, permanentmakeupinmaine.com. A big shout out, as always, goes to Whiplash Media, the official broadcast, graphic, and camera provider of PitStop TV. Check out more at www.pitstoptv.com/Whiplash. And of course, a shout out, as always, to BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community. Now then, Trey, I can ask you final thoughts on this season. You weren't always on the mic, you weren't always even on social media, but you were along the ride for just about all of it. How do you wrap things up from Charlotte?
That's a very difficult question to answer, just because we took in a lot over the course of 13 races. I think, just to start off, one thing that's really awesome that we got to see in the BRP iRacing series, we're really starting to see the work of iRacing in terms of getting dirt oval content out to its, if you will, customers. Just because we saw a multitude of racetracks available to these drivers. I think of the debut of, say, like Cedar Lake Speedway this season. There's a lot of fun to be had here on the iRacing.com service, especially with this discipline. So that's awesome to see like a full, complete 13 race season, which we wouldn't have seen a couple of years ago. But yeah, otherwise, to talk about the drivers, I think we saw, of course, one driver stand on top, but there was always an opportunity for drivers to be able to showcase their talents on certain, if you will, certain specific racetracks available to them. And yeah, it just a lot of fun over the course of 13 races. Some races had their fair share of difficulties in terms of, getting green flag running and efficient green flag running. But there were a lot of relatively close finishes, even to the point that the BRP iRacing series was in the June top 10, which I think that was an awesome way to cap off a really fun season.
Absolutely. If you were checking out the iRacing.com channel a couple of days ago, I think Saturday, the video was released, and that finish from Lima Land made number 8. So the BRP iRacing series certainly making their mark here on the iRacing.com sim. A lot of fantastic stuff happened this season, and it's going to be weird not seeing the BRP iRacing series on this graphic anymore for Monday evenings, but I'm sure that'll come back along towards the fall. This is what we have to look forward to for the rest of the week, though, on PitStop TV. You see, Tuesday, tomorrow evening, 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have the Nork iRacing Series Season 13 from the Martinsville Speedway. So glad that we're going to have Eric Brennan back on the call for the first time in quite a little bit there for Nork, and going to be taking Emerson, I'd imagine Trey, and boy, this is going to be a fantastic one at Martinsville. Short track racing with some of the biggest personalities in sim racing. I cannot wait to see how things go. If you're wondering where I'll be, though, I'll actually be across the street here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Legends Oval, and if you have NBC Track Pass on NBC Sports Gold, I invite you to tune in over there as well. Just make sure you have a couple of different monitors and you can watch the Nork race while you're doing it. We'll have Summer Shootout round number 6 on Track Pass on NBC Sports Gold. Wednesday, though, we've got the Outlaws Sim Series at The Rock, Rockingham. I wish I could ask Emerson right now how he feels about things. I guess we could find out tomorrow, though. It's going to be fantastic. Taking some trucks, open setups as well, to The Rock on Wednesday night. Can't wait to see how that one goes. And then Friday, we will have the MSRA National Series from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a place that's near and dear to my heart, up there in Loudon, New Hampshire. Can't wait to see how that one goes as well. And boy, a whole lot more to look forward to on the channel coming up very soon. Next week, we'll have more of our normal kind of setup. Again, Nork, Outlaws, and then we will have a brand new league. Actually, we had their Streamers Championship a little while ago. The North American Racing League GT3 cars at Hockenheimring next Thursday evening, making their debut properly here on PitStop TV. I gotta ask though, Trey, if you had to pick your favorite, I guess the one broadcast of those 3 that you're watching out for the most this week, which one would it be, and which social channel would you watch out for it on?
So that's a tough one to answer, not just because, I think you should tune into each one, because I think, no matter what the team is, we put out an incredible product and the leagues do a very effective job. I'm pretty partial towards the racetrack of New Hampshire, especially with what is going to be Xfinity Series cars. But you can't count out the new, dense field that we have with the Outlaw Sim Series. And then, like you said, a lot of personalities that we have, if you will, in the Nork iRacing Series at Martinsville. That has the potential to have quite a bit of calamity. But, in terms of social channels, yet again, any of them will do. But Twitter is where you'll get quite a bit of content. Not quite as much on Facebook and Instagram during the events, but, there's still a lot to be enjoyed. Doesn't matter the platform here on PitStop TV.
Well, that'll do it from the virtual dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a fantastic showing to close out the season for the BRP iRacing Series. I don't know that there's BRP official souvenirs, but maybe there are. Maybe you could check that out here in the coming months. A big thank you again goes out to all BRP drivers, fans, supporters, and admins alike. It was one wild ride of a season, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds. For all of PitStop TV, Trey Shuttlesworth and Emerson Arden alongside this evening, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a great night. We'll see you for Nork tomorrow.